Hello everyone, this is a tutorial on how to make this beautiful baby gown. So the material that we are going to be using for this tutorial is a scuba fabric. So I got 1 yard of scuba in pink and a pieces that I have on black. They need pattern paper. So we'll start by drafting an A-line pattern on this pattern paper. So the length I'm using for this A-line is 14 inches. The line at the upper part is my shoulder line, though the full length of this baby dress is 20 inches, so the kissing plate will cover up for the full length. So now I'm marking my neck width, which is 2 inches, then neck depth of 2 inches. Then connect the points together, just the way I'm doing it. Connect your point. So next, we're going to be marking the shoulder, and the shoulder that I'm using is 8 inches divided by 2, which is 4. Then I'll be coming down by half of an inch for shoulder slope. Then I'll connect the point together. So next, we are going to be drafting the length of the armhole. So I'm using a length of 4 inches. So I just marked the 4 inches there. Then I made sure that what I have at the upper part is the same with what I have below. So I mark the points, then I connect the both points together in a straight line to connect the point together just like that. So on this point, I'm going to be dividing what I have by 2, which is 2 inches. So I'll just mark the point like that on the paper. So on this part, I'm going to be dividing the chest circumference of the baby by 4, and I will also be adding my stitching allowance on the pattern paper. So I just connected the line to meet that. After connecting the 2 points together, we are going to be joining or connecting the armhole to form our armhole curve. So I'm going to be using my pattern master to just curve the armhole. So on that same line, I am going to be adding my stitching allowance. So I'm adding like 1.5 inches on that same line. So that will serve as my allowance for the dress, because I really want it to be free. Because you know this baby, they grow so fast. So what I had on that area, I just added like 3 inches to just form the A line on the length of the dress over there. So I just added 3 inches to just form the A line. So that's all. So the front and the back is actually the same thing. The difference is just 1 inches for the zipper allowance. So I'll be using the same pattern for both the front and the back. So now you can see that I've already cut my fabric using the pattern. Then I left 1 inch for the zipper allowance. I also went ahead to cut this long strip, which I'll be using for the kissing plate. So it's actually the full length of the dress. It will complete the full length of the dress. So first of all, we are going to be using a bias strip to pipe the neckline, both the front and the back neckline. I'll also be piping the armhole, but I won't pipe the full armhole because this dress has a cap sleeve. So I'll just do it halfway. So I'm done piping the back and the front neckline. You can see how it's looking already. So what we are going to be doing next is that we're going to be working on the kissing plate. So this is what works for me. I love to pin my kissing plate down first of all for me before I can be able to sew it on the machine. So I advise those that are beginners to follow this process as well, because as most experts will just go to the sewing machine and just do their thing. So it's better you use your pin to just hold the plate down just the way I'm doing it. It's actually easy this way, so you won't get confused or you won't start losing. And also it will be also good if you can measure the length of the pleats that you are picking. So if you cannot use your free hand to do it, you can also use your tape roll and your chalk to just mark the point on how wide or how big you want your pleat to look like. So this is how my own is. So when you are done, just go to your sewing machine and just stitch it down, right side facing right side. So I'm done stitching. I also gave it a good press, though I have not done the final ironing. So this is what the front look like. So I've done the back as well. You can see I also went ahead to fix my zip at the back. So you can see the armhole. I went ahead to pipe it, but I didn't close the other side. So I just did it halfway because we're going to be putting a cap sleeve. So you remember our stitching allowance. I left that place and also the stitching allowance on the shoulder that we're going to be using to join the shoulders. So what is remaining after taking your stitching allowance for the side and the shoulder, mark whatever that is remaining on the armhole area. You mark whatever that is remaining, then you divide it by 2. So when you divide it by 2, whatever you have, that place is going to be the length of the cap sleeve, so that the other parts will be open. So I just hope you understand what I'm trying to do. I normally use a freehand for my cap sleeve, so I'll just cut a piece of fabric, then fold into 2 and also fold into 2 again. That's into 4. I am working with a baby of 1 year old, so I'm going to be forming a circle with 3 inches. So mark 3 inches from the point up, mark 3 inches round with your chalk, just the way I'm doing it. Just if it's an older baby, you can increase the inches. So I just mark 3 inches. Then I'll use my chalk to connect the points and also use my scissors to cut through. So I use my scissors to cut through. So I'm done cutting. You can see the circle is already formed. So fold into 2 like this again. Then go over to your sewing machine and stitch it round. So when you're done stitching it, mark the midpoint. So on that midpoint, you're going to be holding pleats, little pleats, before sewing it to the dress armhole, before attaching your sleeve to the armhole of the dress. So hold your pleats just the way. You can see that the cap is already forming. So I just hope you understand what I am trying to do. So you can see now that I have gone ahead to attach it to my sleeve. I will also do the same thing for the other sleeve. So I'm done fixing the toe sleeve. So you can see how it's looking already. It's looking beautiful. Now we're working on the bow for the upper part. The length I'm working with is 14 inches, while the width is 9 inches. So fold into 2 like this. So use your chalk. We are going to be curving the edges. You know that it is not straight like a square. It's actually curved. So use your chalk. Just do a freehand. Just curve it this way. You curve the right side and also curve the other side as well. So you can see that I'm curving it. So you're going to go to your sewing machine. This place that you can, the midpoint, don't sew it because you're going to be using it to turn it. Just where you marked, just go to over to your sewing machine and stitch it down. Then leave the midpoints because that's what you're going to use to turn it. Then this strip is for us to knot the bow. It's for us to use to knot the bow. So I am done stitching it. So look at the opening there. That's where I turned the fabric from. I also this pink strip, use your iron to seal up the edges, or you can put hemming gum so that it will be able to lap well. So that is what this opening, you can use your sewing machine to stitch it down, or you can leave it like that because the pink strip will actually cover up the opening. So for us to do the bow, you do a pleat just the way I'm doing it. You pick it one by one, pick 4 pleats, you pick the third one, then the last one like this. Make sure you're picking it at the middle. You can see that the bow has already formed. it's looking beautiful. Then this strip, we're going to place it at the midpoint, just the way I'm doing it. Then use your sewing machine or your hand needle to tack it at the back. After tacking it at the back, you go to your dress and place it on your dress. So that's all for the tutorial. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.